Hello everyone, welcome to this slightly different video where we are going to rank the manufacturers in the manufacturer series in a tier list. And I've put a link in the description to the tier list link, so you can do this yourself if you want to. Post it on Discord or, post in the comments below your version of the best to the worst manufacturers, essentially. But what we're going to do, we're going to rank them based on how easy they are, their car selection, the types of cars in there for their Group 3 and Group 4 counterparts. And as I say, this is all for the manufacturer series. Now, I originally filmed this video 3 weeks ago, but the background for it was a little bit iffy, and then I heard there's a bot change, so I thought, you know what, I'll just forget what I did in that video, we'll refocus on it here and now, which is why we're recording it right now. Let's jump to this tier list then. Through, there we go. You should be able to see that now. So we go from S to A to B to C to plebby. Literally, if you're in here, it's a manufacturer I would avoid personally, but obviously this is my own personal opinion. Now I'm going to try and do this in under 20 minutes, so you're not sat there for a fortnight. So without further ado, let's kick off here with the manufacturer tier list. I'm about to hit start on my stopwatch. All I can say is I am one giant pleb. Now, I recorded this and then didn't realise, like a pleb I am, that my face is covering up the next manufacturer that I talk about each and every time I do it. So, believe it or not, we're about to start off with Citroen, and you can't see that. So what I've done is I'm going to put graphics up to explain which manufacturer we are talking about. I do say the name of it, but then at least you get a bit more of an idea. Apologies for that little bit of an error. Let's jump back to me being a pleb anyway. Now, here we go then. So Citroen. Citroen's got the GT, obviously. GT by Citroen in there. Now, generally speaking, that car's actually okay. Both the Group 3 and Group 4 counterpart, and usually they can do quite well. We've seen Devil Soul do quite well with the Citroen. I mean, as a brand, it's not really the most, ideal brand you want to be linked with, but the cars are alright, to be fair. And do you know what, I'm going to put it in A initially. I think it's okay, and we can only just see that there, but it's the best background I could do with all this down here. Hyundai! Wow, the memes, the absolute memes here with the Genesis. Now, the Group 4 car is one I actively avoid. The Group 3 car, one I pretty much try and avoid as well, to be honest with you. It's not a car or manufacturer I particularly like in the game. Bottom of C or plebby? I mean, it's a funny old meme, but you know what? It's a plebby manufacturer. You don't really want to race for them, do you really? Lexus. Now, Lexus are the world champions in 2018. So, obviously, they have quite good cars. They've got 2 Group 3 cars in terms of different ages. There are some differences in there. The Group 4 car was okay. It got recently nerfed by 1% for reasons unknown to science. But it's actually quite a good and easy car to drive. Both Group 3 and Group 4 car. I'm going to put it... Oh, it got recently nerfed, didn't it? Do you know what? No, I think it's an A. In fact, I'm going to put it ahead of Citroen. Because actually, it's a little bit easier to drive than the Citroen. Aston Martin. Interesting one. Obviously, it's all about top-end speed with this car. It's got no downforce on the front, or it feels like that anyway. So going through any handling section in the Group 3 car especially, it's just not going to work. The Group 4 car, I think it's heavy from memory. But again, it's quite good on the old speed. Not as good as some other cars. What do we go with this one? See, I'm worried everything's going to start ending up in A here very quickly. But I think it is on the same sort of level as Lexus, but it's just behind them. So we'll keep them there for now. BMW. Now, this is an interesting one. Obviously, they've got a lot of cars in here. We've got the M3. No, I'm lying. No, it is the M3, isn't it? We've got the M6 in terms of Group 3. We've got the Z4 in Group 3. So a lot of choices there. And obviously this isn't all about being the best of the best in terms of manufacturers. The M4 in Group 4 also can be very good at times. Definitely not plebby. Definitely not C. I'd argue not B. Do you know what? I'm going to put it in S. It'd be very bottom S, but there's that many choices in terms of BMW. If you're a beginner and you want to pick a manufacturer and you want to try out different cars, BMW is the place to go. You've got 4 cars to choose from, 2 M6s, the M3 and the Z4, and then you've got the M4 in Group 4. My word, there's a lot of acronyms coming out here. And you know what? I think it's actually quite a good manufacturer, BMW. In fact, it's a very good manufacturer. That's why it's in S. It's a special manufacturer, I'm going to say. S is special. We've decided that right now. Renault Sport. Now, it's got the RS01 in Group 3. That is it, which is pants. It's rubbish. It's shocking. One I would actively avoid. In Group 4, we have the Megane Trophy, which can be good occasionally and not really very good at the moment. It's like nerfed to the ground to a large extent. And then we have the FF car of the Megane. Oh, I don't think it's a plebby manufacturer because I think the Megane Trophy just pulls it up. I don't think it's very good though as a manufacturer. I'm going to put it in C. I don't think it's a very good manufacturer. The RS01 is shocking. It's not really a manufacturer you want to go for as a beginner either because it's just... You'd be struggling at most circuits. You know, you want some power in there. You want some car choice. You don't really have it. The tyre wear goes a bit iffy. Yeah, it's a C. It's a C. Peugeot. Right, what do we say about Peugeot? RCZ Group 4. Like, everybody hates it. You know, it's ridiculously powerful, but it is good for a beginner. You know, it's not going to be hugely oversteery. You're going to have to learn how to save tyres with it. Tyre wear is dreadful in it. I've not really talked about tyre wear and fuel in this, have I, in the grand scheme of it? Group 3, the Visual Gran Turismo car, the futuristic one is terrible. I would avoid it at all costs. It's just rubbish and looks stupid, and I wish it wasn't even in Group 3. The RCZ Group 3 car, though, is quite nice, actually. And I quite like the car. It's quite beginner-friendly as well, you know. So it's ahead of Renault. In fact, I'd put it in B. Do you know what? I'm going to put it in B. I don't think it can win any championships, but I think in terms of the RCZ Group 3 car, I think it's actually quite good. And obviously it's got a special place in my heart. And then the RCZ Group 4 car, while annoying for the most part, it's actually quite good for beginners. So, B. We're going to go with B. Oh, look, another one close to my heart here. Audi. Oh, right. Okay, so Audi. What are we saying here? Audi... Group 3 car, very hard for beginners. Do not pick Audi in the slightest. However, it's a very, very good handling car. At some circuits, it's one of the best cars out there because of just how good it is at handling. Can't say fuel to save its life. Although saying that, you can if you're lightning. If you're not lightning, you're going to struggle a little bit more. Group 4 car, the TT, another very good beginner car. The Group 4 car. Oh, where does Audi go then? I think because the Group 3 car is not beginner friendly, it's below Peugeot. The Group 4 cars are similar in that sense. In fact, you'd argue the Group 4 car of Audi is slightly better than the Peugeot, but the Group 3 car of Peugeot is slightly better than Audi. Yeah, I'm going to keep them this way round, mainly because the Group 3 car for Audi, you really have to learn how to really be good on brakes, and that's going to be significant in the Audi. So yeah, B is a good place. Now Mazda, whoa, what do we say about this? So let's start off with the Tenza Group 4 car. It's not really there, is it? Really, it's pretty pants in the grand scheme. It's in the same sort of place as the Hyundai Genesis in Group 4, in my opinion. So that would put it in plebby. However, we then get to the Group 3 cars. The Tenza is quite good at times, so that would put it up into the C. The RX Vision, though, probably the ultimate OP car at the moment. Hashtag sponsored, in terms of the game that is. This video isn't sponsored. The Mazda RX Vision car at the moment is the OP car in Group 3. It is absolutely dominant. So very much a car that can get you somewhere in races. So I'm going to put this into the... Or it's definitely a high B or a low A, I think. I don't think it's a high A just because the Group 4 car is a bit meh. But the Group 3 car is so good. So does it go a bit higher? Yeah, I'll tell you what. We're going to put it in A for now. We're going to put it in A. So Jaguar. Now, Jaguar. Basically the F-Type in both Group 3 and Group 4. Group 3 car, very good at the moment. A very good car. And I'd argue it's actually very good in Group 4. In fact, both cars are really good, thinking about it. There's no real downside to them that I can think of off the top of my head. Obviously, we're doing this on the fly, so... Do you know what? I think this is an S car. I think it's better than a Mazda. I think it's up here. In fact, is it going to be ahead of BMW? It could be, you know, because it's actually very beginner-friendly as well. It's very beginner-friendly. It's very fast. It's very good in the grand scheme of it, in both Group 3 and Group 4. That's an S-class manufacturer at the moment, Jaguar, I would say. So that is going straight in there in terms of the top brand so far. Now, Ford. Ford have, in Group 3, the Ford Mustang, which can be good at Monza from memory, but that's about it. We've got the Ford GT, which can be good in quite a lot of places. That car is vastly underestimated. I know TRL Adam does very well with that car, the Ford. Now, in Group 4, it's the Mustang again. Now, the car's not very good in Group 4 from memory, just because of the fuel usage. But it's quite beginner friendly, the Mustang, I would argue. And I'd argue Ford's got a couple of good choices there in Group 3, because the Mustang Group 3 is quite easy to drive in the grand scheme of it. The Ford GT isn't, but can be used very well. So I'm going up here. I don't think it's S-Class. Oh, what do we do? I'm going to put Ford ahead of Mazda. I'm going to put it ahead of the Mazda. I think you got... Oh, the RX Vision... No, I'm putting it behind. Last decision, putting it behind the Mazda. I think the Mazda RX Vision is just too OP at the moment, so it's going in higher than the Ford. I don't think it's S Ford. Subaru, both WRXs. Now, the Group 3, very good car, actually. The very good car. I don't know if it's been nerfed lately, maybe. I don't know, but in terms of the car, it's a handling car, very good, very easy to handle, can be very good on tyres. Fuel, what was the fuel like from memory? Do you know what? I can't remember what the fuel it was like. Where do I place it though? Subaru. Both cars are very beginner friendly. I don't really like the Group 4 car that much. I think it's kind of slow. The Group 3 car, oh yeah, do you know what? The Group 4 car is slow from memory. It's very hard to get anything out of it. I'm going to put this here. I think it's high B. I think it's better than Peugeot and Audi in terms of I would advise people picking it. But does it go into here? I don't know. Ooh, Alfa Romeo. Right, what do we say about Alfa Romeo? The 4C in Group 3. Actually, a nice car, actually. It's very much a surprise car to me. It's not great at all. So it's definitely not an S. It's definitely not an A either. Now, we get to the Group 4 car. One of the hardest cars to control in the game at the moment, the Alfa 4C Group 4 car. Now, if you're a Super Alien, you probably can drive it very well. If you're not a Super Alien... it's a shocking car to drive, absolutely shocking. So where does that put it? Is it a C or is it a plebby? Is it C or is it plebby? Well, the Alpha fans are going to come at me here. They are going to come at me. Do you know what? I think it's plebby, you know. I think it's plebby. I really do. Now, is it... Do you know what? I'm actually going to put it below Hyundai. I think it's actually a plebby manufacturer. While the 4C in Group 3 is alright, the Group 4 car is just shocking. I wouldn't advise anyone to drive it at the moment. So, yeah, I'm going to put it as plebby. Honda. Now, Honda's an interesting manufacturer, isn't it? So, it's NSXs galore, Group 3, Group 4. Interesting one. So, the Group 3 car, very much similar to the Audi. In that it's a little bit less in terms of handling, but a little bit faster on the straights. That's the way I see Honda versus Audi in that sense. So the Group 3 car, very good car. It does burn through its tyres a little bit, so you do have to be careful about that. Now the Group 4 car, also very good car. Very, very good car, the Group 4 car. Definitely beginner friendly. Where do we put this? So we're saying both cars are good. Now, I'd say the Honda Group 3 car, more beginner friendly than the Audi R8 is, especially if you put it to -5. It just chews through its tyres a bit too much. So it's definitely not going to be... It's got to be higher than Audi. I would say it's higher than Peugeot. I would say it's higher than Subaru because you want to drive both cars. Is it higher than Citroen? The Citroen cars. Probably so. Is it higher than Aston Martin? Yes. I'm going to put it there. I'm going to put it in the middle of A. I just think it's a car more desirable to drive. The Citroen is very futuristic and not many people want to go to that occasionally. Aston Martin, it's a mixture. It's between where it goes. Does Aston Martin go higher than Honda? I'm putting Honda higher just because I think it's a little bit better in terms of if you want a time trial as well, potentially. It just chews through its tyres a bit more. So, yeah. Oh, McLaren, which is actually McLaren. So let's talk about McLaren. Group 3 cars. We have the 650S, understeer galore, even though you don't expect it, and it's an MR car. And it can get very iffy later on in a stint when tyre wear and fuel is concerned. F1 GTR, good at a couple of tracks, but generally speaking, it sounds rubbish and not a car you particularly want to pick in the grand scheme of it. Then you go to the 650S in Group 4, which can be good actually. Depending on your driving style, it can be good. It doesn't suit me in the slightest. You short shift it for days as well. McLaren. Well, Group 3 cars, none of them you really want to pick. And the Group 4 car, oh. See, I prefer Group 3 races, so the fact the Group 3 car isn't very good puts it below Audi. But then the Group 4 car doesn't suit me, and it's my personal choice. I'm going to put it in C. I just don't think it's a good manufacturer, to be honest with you. I really don't. While it can be good, I think there's some. The 650S needs improving 100%. In Group 3, the 650S needs improving substantially, just to get it a bit more handling. I think it should be more handling than anything. It just seems to be about power, and then it struggles, and then you just get a weird oversteer and understeer, and yeah, not very good. Right, okay, Nissan GTR Godzilla. What are we doing with Godzilla? So the Group 3 car is very good at the moment, and we're seeing that Lightning's showing its true performance there as well in terms of Godzilla. Group 3 car, not necessarily beginner friendly, but the fact you can overtake cars for days is very helpful in terms of the Nissan. Now, Group 4 car, much harder to drive. So, much harder to drive. So, Group 3 cars, okay. Group 4 car, much harder to drive. It's very much in this B section. I'm going to put it below Subaru for sure. Is it below Peugeot? Do you know what? I think it might be, you know. Oh, no. Ooh, is it? No, I'm going to put it there for now. Mainly because the Group 3 car is something you can work with, but the Group 4 car is harder to drive. So the manufacturers in here have a hard car to drive with. But a Group 4 car is not necessarily hard to drive in general. So I'm going to put it there. Yeah, I'm going to leave it there. Lamborghini. Right, what do we say about Lamborghini? The Huracan Group 3 car. Very quick if you can drive it, which is the problem. It's not beginner friendly in the slightest. Tyre wear, horrendous. Fuel, it can be good on fuel actually. But obviously if tyre wear is horrendous, it's just going nowhere anyway. Group 4 car, 4-wheel drive. Yeah, it's a bit just meh, isn't it really, the Lambo Group 4? It's not a car you really want to go to. Oh, what do we do with the Lamborghini? I think it's a C-rated manufacturer, you know, as much as I love V10s. It's below McLaren. It is definitely below McLaren. I'd argue it's below Renault. I don't think it's plebby, though. Do you know what? I'm not putting it in plebby just because of V10, yo. But yeah, it's definitely a bottom C sort of area here in terms of the manufacturer rating. So we go to Porsche next, which is actually Porsche. Obviously, I've just taken somebody else's list here to make my own list. So Porsche Group 3 car, amazing. One of the best beginner cars you can go to. Very good on handling. Can be okay if it's got a bit of slipstream there as well. It's good on tyre wear. Can be good on fuel. It's just an all-round good car, the Group 3 car. Now, the Group 4 car struggles a little bit sometimes. It's got very long gear ratios, but again, is a good car, and you can drive it fairly well. So, do you know what? Porsche is an S manufacturer here. And I'm going to put it ahead of BMW as well. I don't think it's there with Jaguar just yet. I think a bop change would maybe increase it potentially, but I think it's an S manufacturer, the Porsche. I think both cars, very good. If you're a beginner, you go for it. I think it can be handled very well by an alien. I think it can always be up there, the Porsche. In fact, it's always up there. So yes, I think the Porsche S-Class manufacturer. Right, Volkswagen. So we've got Ruthless Boy. Let's not talk any more about Ruthless Boy because it's a horrendous car. I don't think she'll be in Group 3. So we then have the Beetle. One of the best Vision Gran Turismo Group 3 cars you can have. You know, it's very much a Group 3 car or GT3 car that could be made in real life. So I think a quite good car, the Beetle. The Group 4 car, the Scirocco. One of the better FF cars in terms of its tyre wear. But do you really want to drive it? Oh, no is the answer. So, oof. It's a little bit more beginner friendly than the Nissan actually, so I'm going to put it here. It's going to go in the B. Although looking at this, it's got FF, FF. Probably should call this Group F rather than Group B, but there we go. So into the B we go. We then go to AMG Mercedes. Now we've got the SLS in Group 3. Can be a good car to be fair. Used to be quite quick. I was actually a hidden gem until I found it in the bot test. And I actually used that at a world tour, I think, from memory. So the SLS can be good. The AMG, always a good car to go to. Very balanced in the grand scheme of it. Normally works very well at most situations. And then we have the Group 4 SLS. Can be quite heavy on the front tyres. But again, it's still a very good beginner car. Now, both cars being very good beginner. It's going to go ahead of that. Does it go ahead of the Mazda? I would say it goes ahead of the Mazda. Does it go into S? Do you know what? I think it does go into S. In fact, I'm going to put it ahead of the BMW. I think it's slightly better than the BMW. I think it goes into S there, does Mercedes. I think it's a good overall car to pick. You know, if you're ever in doubt about a manufacturer, go to Mercedes. I'm sure you could do fine throughout a given season. Chevrolet. Now we've got Corvettes galore here. The GT3 car, Group 3 car, very good. Very good car. One of my go-to cars, I think, in the grand scheme of it. If I'm ever struggling, I go to that. Group 4 car is not a car I've really tried, so I can't really comment on it too much. Is it any good? Seems to do alright occasionally, but it's not the greatest. The Group 3 car is very good, though. So it's around that Mazda sort of area here. Do you know what? I'm going to put it ahead of the Mazda. I think the Group 4 car is better than the Mazda Group 4 car. Group 3 car is still very good. It's not OP as Mazda, but I think it's top end of A. Mitsubishi Motors. What do we talk about here? The Evo. Group 3 car, very much like the Subaru. And then the Group 4 car, very much like the Subaru again. So not really much to say here other than I think the Group 4 car is slightly worse than the Subaru. Although it's doing very well at Daily Race B this week. In the grand scheme of it, I do think the Subaru is a tiny bit better. And then, yes, I just think it's just here. I think it is just a B-rated manufacturer. The Ferrari! Grazie, ragazzi. So, we've got the 458 in both Group 3 and Group 4. Group 3, very oversteery, not beginner-friendly, not very good on tyres. Has alright top end, actually, from memory anyway, unless that's been changed very recently. The Group 4 car, very good, actually. Very good Group 4 car. So it's very much in the territory of the McLaren. Now, so the Group 3 car is worse than the Audi. The Group 4 car is very good. So it sort of matches the Audi, but the Audi's better in my opinion. So it goes down here. Or does it go in here? No, it goes down here. Because I think the Group 3 car is just a bit too iffy to me. But I think it's better than the McLaren. I think it is better than the McLaren. Because you can still do something with it. It doesn't get iffy. While it is iffy, it's not overly... The McLaren goes weird once you have tyre wear involved. So I'm going to put it here. I think the Ferrari goes here. Then we go to Dodge, which of course is Dodge. The Viper in both Group 3 and Group 4. Group 3 car is sometimes underrated, actually. Sometimes it can be very good. Sometimes it can be rubbish. It's very much bot dependent as well. The Group 4 car... Similar situation. I mean, when the FS were dominant, the Viper was probably one of the only cars that was actually keeping with the FFs in some situations, if we go back to some of the daily races. So, I think in terms of this, the Dodge, I think this is a... Ooh, it's high B, low A. I don't think it's there at the moment. Ooh. Is it better than the Citroen? It is better than the Citroen. Is it better than Aston Martin? Let's look at it this way. Yes. Is it better than Honda? Now, for a beginner and tyre wear? Potentially, yes, actually. Is it better than a Lexus? Ooh, it's on par with Lexus, isn't it? In my opinion. I'm gonna put it here. We then go to Toyota. Toyota. So we've got in Group 3 the Supra and the FT1, both very good cars, very, very good cars. Different situation suits them, but they are very good cars. Group 4 we have the 86 and the Supra, but I don't think we can use the Supra. I never really see the Supra, so I'm going to ignore the Supra Group 4. The GT86 can be good, on tyre wear, but the problem is it can't overtake in a month for Sundays. Unless you're diving or you've got superior grip somehow, you can go around the outside and just fly past them. So Toyota, it has two very good Group 3 cars, and I suppose the Group 4 car is good as well. It is good in the grand scheme of it. It can be good, the Group 4 car. Obviously it depends on the tyre wear. So it's better than the Mazda, 100%. Is it better than Chevrolet? Two Group 3 cars, yes, it's better than Chevrolet. Is it an S-rated manufacturer at the moment? Probably yes. Is it better than BMW? Supra and the FT1 are better than the BMW Group 3 cars. Is the Group 4? Yes, okay, it's better than them. Is it better than AMG? Yes, I would argue at the moment it is. The FT1 and Supra are still a place to go. Is it better than the Porsche? That's a tough question. Yes, it is. The Group 4 cars are similar in that sense, but then you just sort of have better Group 3 choices. Is it better than Jaguar? No. The Group 4 car of Jaguar is better than the Toyota, and the Group 3... Yes, that is it. Well, that's my tier list done, weirdly. Oh, it's taken me 25 minutes. Apologies for that. It's taken a bit longer than expected. So, there we have it then. So, Jaguar is peak at the moment, I've put it as. And then it's Toyota, Porsche, AMG, Mercedes, and then BMW in S-Class. A is Chevrolet, Mazda, Ford, Lexus, Dodge, Honda, Aston Martin, Citroen. We then have B-Class, which weirdly has the most manufacturers that I've been in, bizarrely. Subaru, Mitsubishi, Volkswagen, Nissan, Peugeot, and Audi. We then have the C-Class, which is Ferrari, McLaren, Renault, and Lamborghini. They're the sort of manufacturers you only go to if you want a bit of a challenge. And then the plebby ones are the ones you would avoid at all costs normally. Hyundai and Alfa Romeo, Q, Nico, and Nico Rublar from CSA coming at me as well, saying Hyundai's the best. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. It's not. It's plebby. But that is my manufacturer tier list. What's your manufacturer tier list, guys? Do let me know in the comments below. Yeah, send screenshots on Discord as well of your tier list. I'm certainly pretty pleased with that one in the grand scheme of it. But that's going to be it for this tier list then. Do hope you enjoyed this slightly different video. I am streaming on Twitch right now as this video goes out, weirdly, on the Wednesday at 7:30. I will be on Twitch streaming, so... come chill out if you want to chill out there. I'm sure there's another video or live stream on the screen if you want to check that out on the channel. My logo's there if you want to subscribe. But yeah, as I say, if you did like it, give it a thumbs up. And I will see you in another video or live stream very soon. Au revoir and goodbye. Da -da 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 -da.